Welcome everyone to this new talk of Time to Watches 2026. Today we will focus on a topic that sits at the crossroad of strategy, creativity and market reality, the architecture of growth in independent watchmaking. Over the past years, independent brands have moved from a niche position to become a visible and increasingly influential force within the watch industry. But with this rise comes a complex question. How does an independent brand grow without losing what makes it unique? To explore this question, we are joined by three CEOs of independent watch brands, alongside a leading expert in watch industry analysis and strategy. Maria Bashutkina from the JIMH Watchmaking Marketing Symposium, whose research and publication provide deep insight into brand strategy, positioning, and the evolving dynamics of the watch industry. Vartzbed, CEO of Kerbedanz, a brand known for its bold aesthetic identity and strong creative universe. Stephan von Gunten, founder of Haute, representing a highly artisanal and technically driven approach to independent watchmaking. And Cybèle Vigneron, founder of Version, a brand exploring contemporary design, language, and modern interpretations of horological identity. Welcome you all. Together we will explore what truly defines an independent brand today and how such brands build credibility and emotional resonance and what it takes to grow in a highly competitive and evolving luxury landscape. From marketing strategy to product creation, from storytelling to distribution, this discussion will aim to uncover the structural forces shaping the future of independent watchmaking. Welcome to you all. Maria, you have observed the watch industry for many years now. From the trends you've studied and what we could read about the recent JIMH publication, do you see independent brands entering a new phase of visibility and influence?
Yes, something very interesting is happening nowadays because with the changes of our lives, with the globalization, with digitalization, we've seen that there are new opportunities that open to independent brands, and it starts to be a little bit easy. I don't want to say that life of independent brands are easy, but I say that it's going to be a little bit more easy to become famous, to become visible, and to get to the customers, to the collectioners. And we do have a couple of beautiful examples of startups, of new companies who are attracting their collectioners and build their life around it.
When analyzing independent brands, what early marketing and strategic signals indicate that a brand has a real long-term potential?
It's easy to say products, it's easy to say marketing, but I would like to pay your attention to something behind the scene, to something that is below the surface. It's legitimacy. Why my brand should be purchased and not another one? Why I am different? What is my right to exist? So let's keep in mind the legitimacy.
To the CEO, based on your experience, what are the biggest marketing challenges and opportunities for an independent brand today? Cybèle, let's start with you.
Well, I think that one of the best opportunities is a liberty of expression. Like you can create and you can give your vision, but the challenge is that you don't have the same budget as the other brand, and there is a lot of noise because there is a lot of watches proposition, and so you have to stand out. So the other opportunity is to create something new, to then get a community that will spread the word and be the advocate, and you will be able to manage to get a lot of good communication thanks to your buyers, your community, your sponsors.
Vahé?
So the story of Kerbedanz, the beginning of the journey was a bit different than many other brands. We started directly with collectors. The idea was to propose, like it was in the past, like the watchmakers of the kings, to propose directly an exchange with the collectors to see what they want. And so the first challenge was to get this brand awareness. But there was a dialogue between the collectors and our co-founders.
What about you, Stephan?
You know, Rive was founded by my great-great-grandfather in 1888. So I feel a lot of freedom with what I'm doing right now with the brand, but I also feel like I have to pay tribute to my history, to my family legacy. So I can explore new territories, new things, but with paying tribute to the legacy.
strong bond with heritage too.
Yes, it's an heritage brand, and as I said, I feel free of doing new models, new things, exploring new territories, new materials, this kind of thing. But I keep in mind that my great grandfather was behind the brand, so I try to respect what he was doing in the past.
Always grateful. Yeah. Maria, the term independent is widely used in the industry now. For a marketing perspective, what does true independence mean today?
I would say that independence means a lot of problem and difficulties, but from marketing point of view, there are some bonuses, and I absolutely agree with what you are saying. It's liberty in product creation, in positioning, in the way we present the watch, the way we create the watch. So it gives a lot of liberty.
To the CEOs, in your experience, which come first, product excellence or storytelling and brand narrative?
Well, I think that if you have a good product without a communication, it stays silent. But if you have an amazing communication without a good product, it's just empty. So you have to get both of them to then be able to get to be like a great new watchmaking startup. So I think that both of them have to move together, and then you have to put a lot of yourself in your communication in products so people can relate to your proposition.
What about the others? Any ideas? Any thoughts?
You were talking about legitimacy. I just started and joined Kerbedanz last year. We celebrate our 15th anniversary. We are lucky. We don't have that as much as history as Haute Rive, but it's like we are entering in a new stage of development. So we try to today to expand globally. So in terms of product excellence, I have the heritage of the last 15 years. So it's like a new startup with a strong heritage. So I think product excellence is there, and we just need to convey the message.
Okay.
So that's I think it's the challenge is the storytelling.
In my case, it's not so much about the storytelling. Of course, I have to explain what are my roots and so on. But I'm a watchmaker and engineer in watchmaking, so my focus is really the product. Let's say, even though I don't like the name products because it's a piece of art, of mechanical art, piece of high watchmaking, haute horlogerie. So as a watch loader, I would prefer to say the watch first, watchmaking first, and then the story will follow.
And does independence feel like freedom? You said a lot of freedom in strategy, or more like a constraint on growth?
In our case, for Version, because we are really young, like we launched the first collection 1 year ago, we had to learn a lot. So we had to do things differently because we couldn't go to the watch fair all the time. We couldn't go like to all of the other retailers. So we had to be creative to convince people. So we create something more like a community, like we organize private dinners, private fittings. And I think it's a good opportunity because if you have a lot of concern, then you can be like the best version of yourself because you can then create something different and some tension between liberty, constraint, and your product. So I think it's a good thing.
Mhm. Has independence itself become a core marketing argument, as suggested by trends highlighted in the JIMH publication?
I would like to also pay your attention to something that's not really exists often in luxury because many brands would create product, timepiece, watch, beauty, and then try to sell it. And I would like to pay your attention to not inside out, but outside in. What is my value? What is my authenticity? What will I touch? It's my customer's heart, in my customer's mind, in my customer dreams that will make buy myself the watch. So that's why this year in Journée de Marketing Horloger, in Watchmaking Market and Symposium that will be held in place in October, we decided to concentrate us to the market study. And if we talk with the luxury brands, they said we don't need market study. We don't want to go into these laws of marketing because luxury is anti-marketing. But still, we live in the time where customer, the client, the collectioner wants to have a piece of him in his watch. And if he buy any watch, any timepiece, it means something for him. So that's why it's really important to keep an eye on what exactly I will touch with that on that person with my watch.
Mhm. And can a brand remain independent while scaling its business without diluting its identity? A question I can ask you, serious.
Yeah, I think it's better to ask the CEOs.
I think we said that independence means freedom. I think we can still be free to do whatever we want as a creative brand without diluting our identity. We are free, and we develop Kerbedanz with different pillar of product development. One of them is the designer vision, offered only to some collectors from Kerbedanz, and it's the designer vision, the touch of madness, so we can keep our creativity while we have our identity.
Mhm. And from the beginning, or does it something that you build in the way, actually?
So when it started, the first 6 years of the brand, it was only dedicated to bespoke pieces, only or like unique creation, unique edition made only for collectors upon requests. And so that's why at some point after the first 6 years, our co-founders found the need of creating their own identity with their own first collection, to build a signature, to have some identity, some DNA. And so that came into a second stage of the development. So in the beginning, it was only pleasing the collectors to create their own timepieces as they wishes. And then a second stage of the development was to build a first collection.
As a young brand for Version, what's your thoughts about that?
Well, with Carla, my co-founder, we are designers from by our schools, and then we did some business schools. So we think that marketing is important, but we stay true to ourselves. Like, we are designers, so we started to design the first collection in advance. So we have already like the two collection the second one will be launched in September. So we will have already these two ones that are functional. But then we created the third and fourth also right now, and we have the fifth in mind. So it helps us to get the creative vision with the scale. So we stay true to our inspiration, our story, ourselves, but at the same time, it's help us to then grow and give a lot of proposition for collectors. But we stay with the same artistic direction because we have the collection in advance.
You talk about heritage sooner. How do you infuse your own identity to the brand?
That's how can I say that? It's Haute Rive is a brand for passionate people, the people who likes to take time when they're doing something. So, for example, for the assembly of one watch, it takes about 1 month. So my production is limited itself because of the time we need, and yet that's something a bit how can I say that? It's not like in the line with the fast lives we have at the moment. So it's a brand where you can enjoy the piece, you can take time, you can observe your watch and so on. So it's a bit disruptive in a way that it's not a watch for sport or this kind of thing. It's something that you can really enjoy and take time to enjoy the watch that you own.
So the identity is more like about the time you're going to enjoy wearing and looking at the watch.
Yes.
Really? Okay. Maria, according to the analysis and case studies in the Journée internationale de marketing horloger, what is the first pillar of a credible watch brand today?
For sure, we should start with the product. Even if it shouldn't be product, it could be watch, it could be art piece, it could be time machine. There are so many beautiful watches. There are so many beautiful interpretations of the object to show time. And technical excellence, it is the condition of sine qua non, just to start. That's why I would still attract your attention to legitimacy. I will still attract your attention to the conviction of the customers. What this object will represent for me? Probably this.
Do customers today buy a watch, or do they buy into a vision of time and a brand's identity as emphasized in recent marketing researches?
I believe that three person presented here would answer it better. But I think that yes.
Does Version is selling a vision?
And we're selling a project also. Yeah, I think that our community that decides this a lot, that they are happy to have a watch because they have the feeling that they are part of something that is growing. So they have the feeling that they are taking like limited edition pieces that is quite unique, and then they will be the witness of our growth, of our new proposition. So I think that they buying like vision, but they're also buying an experience and a community feeling. So
And this is strong, I think, because they are beginning to be a part of the process too.
yeah, and because we try to take our customer during our journey, for example, during our photo shoot for the new campaign, we ask them if they want to be the models. So we have a lot of our clients that were models for our marketing campaign, or we try to invent them, for example, in a private flat during like private events to get to know them. Like I think it's a beautiful thing to be like an early stage startup. Like we can connect with them like personally because we're the funders, and we don't have a lot of people around us that will do this work.
Is it something you can do to meet people personally?
This is at the core of our let's say strategy. This is how the journey begin with Kerbedanz, a dialogue between our co-founder and designer Aram Petrosian and the collectors, and that's yeah for me I think they don't buy only a product or a timepiece, they buy something beyond. You can call it a vision, you can call a universe, but it's something that can go beyond something that you can only wear on the wrist. Because for us, I mean, in our case, this is something truly special. Most of our collectors had a very long journey in the watchmaking, collecting in watchmaking timepieces, and they arrive at Kerbedanz at a certain stage where they seek something beyond the timepiece only. They want to create something truly special. And for us, they don't just buy something, they buy something as a whole, an experience, a vision, and a universe.
As a watchmaker, are you aware and do you like the fact that the people really want to know and to understand how it works?
Yeah, how it works and how it is made. What are the roots of the brand? Many things. So you don't need a watch today. You have a phone or whatever, but you are part of something bigger than a watch. It's like having if you have an Haute Rive, it's like if you have a sailing boat. You don't need a sailing boat. You can take the trade, you can take a bike or whatever, but you don't need a sailing boat. But there are a lot of people that like sailing because they can enjoy their time. They can feel the peace or something like that. So if you have an Haute Rive, it's like having a sailing boat. You can enjoy it and feel something bigger than just a timepiece.
The experience, the whole experience. Looking back at your journey, can you share an example of a difficult choice of or trade-off you had to make in building your brand and what you learned from it?
We had to do a choice about the speed of scale because we had really limited resources. And so we decided you talk a lot about legitimacy. And so we had to make a choice when we had did the pre-order campaign, like, do we wait to have the functional prototype? And so you have to invest a lot. Or do we launch the campaign and we will build it after? So we decided to do the prototype before to show that we were a serious brand. Then we had to do the pre-order campaign, then do the production. So it was difficult because you had to like get a lot of money to do it. But it was a strong choice because we wanted to have retailers. We wanted to have a stock and not just do like a limited edition, just like we have 60 and we just deliver 60 watches, like it was 300 pieces. So it was tough, but it helped us to then develop our brand and then to have like retailers in France, Monaco, and now we will launch the US market. So in June. So I think it was like a strong choice that we had to do, but it paid.
What about Kerbedanz?
The difficult choice for us, it's not like on me only. It's there's the creativity of our co-founder, and our design, co-founder and designer Aram Petrosyan is probably one of the most prolific person I've ever met. The most important when we have discussion together is to make sure we structure the collection that we would like to offer to our partner, because now we are at the stage where we want to expand internationally. So we want to have a possibility to offer a collection that can be on display at our retailers around the world to meet the new commercial collectors. And that's sometimes the big discussion I have together, because if I let him alone with his creativity, he could build one different timepiece every day.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. What about you?
Yeah, for me, my production is so limited. I make about 10 pieces a year. So every watch is almost a watch made on request of for a client, for a collector, so a passionate person. And so I think I have different constraints that you have. And as I say, sometimes maybe the limit is a bit to continue to make my own philosophy, my own innovation, without being too much interrupted by the request of the clients. But it goes well. I mean, it's fine.
You
10
find the
pieces a year,
balance.
find the balance. Yeah.
Maria, you often highlight the cultural and artistic dimensions of watchmaking. How can brands translate that into tangible product design and emotional impact?
Yeah, it's true. Watchmaking today is positioned on the top of luxury pyramid that is quite close to the definition of art. And there are lots of collaboration. There are lots of ways to infuse art into watchmaking. And for the last 15 years, I was analyzing different combinations, different ways to infuse art into watchmaking. And I realized that all of the brands, all of the 300 brands that we have in watchmaking, would have 4 dimensions. First of all, as you said previously, watch itself is an art of mechanics, and we see it on all these beautiful watches that we've seen here today. So the watch itself, it's not a product, it is the creation of artistic sculpture, mechanical art devices, whatever we could have it. Then the second dimension is the collaboration between an artist and the watchmaking brand. We have beautiful different examples when these two entities will create something risk-taking, something completely different. We are talking about limited series. We are talking about unique pieces when an artist would paint something, when an artist would create out of the watch something completely different. Then the third dimension would be, for sure, one of the most impressive way to create art and watchmaking is artistic craftsmanship. All of different elements we will use in order to embellish, in order to make it even more beautiful, in order to make it even more breathtaking, beautiful watch what we see on the wrist today. So the application of different techniques of decoration and finishing to the watch. And the fourth dimension, it may be the most lightest version, the most superficial. It's association with different artistic performances. It could be music. So we have a concert coming to the, let's say, opening of the boutique, or, for example, a participation of a brand watchmaking brand in one of the concerts happening elsewhere. It could be live painting event. It could be an event in a gallery. So all different creations when we are living art in the moment. And when we live the art in the moment, in neurosciences, the watch itself, the brand itself, will be associated with the art even more than before. So these 4 levels to show the global story.
Do you all have an idea on what design or storytelling elements most effectively create emotion for your clients?
Well, on our side, our clients are really sensible to the design and craftsmanship. So our process is to take like a great vehicle, which is a total design. So the first collection was about Aston Martin and then another designer, Charlotte Perriand. So it's mostly like a vehicle and then architecture or industrial designer reference. The second collection will be about the Flight Concorde and André Putman. So we took those reference and we give them some new proposition with the watch, and we put a lot of details and pattern on the dial that can be interpreted by different clients. So we decide to put different reference on our dial all the time because we don't want to just put just one inspiration and say like, okay, it will be the best inspiration for our clients. Like we have like fond of classic cars and fond of architecture. And for the second collection, we know that we will have the fond of aeronautic, like flights, and design also. So we try to continue with this process to mix.
They are already strong symbols, actually.
So, and the third one will be about a boat and another designer. So it's our universe that we try to share.
What about your clients?
So for our historical first pillar, it's the collector is already at the heart of the at the creation. So he's already in a full emotion when he starts a project with us because we will create his own timepiece, what he wants to have. Sometimes it can be a completely new movement. Sometimes it can be a completely new métier d'art, expressing something that they truly want. So the design is really at the heart of Kerbedanz. And then we try also to translate this into the second pillar of our product development, the core collection, where our timepiece has always a very important design signature, and that's for us the how we translate the emotion of Kerbedanz. All the pieces must stand out with their exceptional craftsmanship.
I get lost. Sorry. Tell me, ask me a question again.
No worries. I think the thing is that when you're a brand a bit more established, as you two, it's a bit more simple to convince the client because he is already making the choice to choose you, and the brand already has this aura actually that participates to give the client an emotion.
Yeah, it's of course it's more about emotion than about just a timepiece, and I agree with some of what you're saying before. If you can mix the know-how, the craftsmanship with a particular design or a particular artistical piece in a watch, that's the beauty of our work. And for example, I'm collaborating with an hand engraver, and it's a strong collaboration because it's not only about making a different timepiece. It's something about creating an atmosphere, a universe, and really a piece of art at the end. So, and I think when the clients, the collectors, understand it's not just a watch but a piece of art, then it's totally different.
Yeah, you're right. The market is evolving rapidly. E-commerce, social media, and brand communities are reshaping customer interactions. Do independent brands have a strategic advantage over larger groups in these contexts?
Well, I think that right now the luxury is really about the experience and community. We can see it with the wellness or with the cosmetic industry, and also in the tech industry. It's not just the products, not just the features. It's also like what problem you can solve and how you can empathize with your client, your user. And with Version, I think it's the same thing. Like we try to do like a lot of connection with the clients, even with the communication or with the retailers, and try to curate who will bring the image of Version in different countries, in different retailers. So I think that now, thanks to globalization, we can have something really more personalized and more human approach with your selling process, because you are a young brand, you can get in touch with your client as founders, and you can try to create experience and not just like, okay, so I have my watch and she's beautiful and she's really technical. You can now say, okay, you can have your watch with this type of clothes in this type of pitch and everything.
Okay. Maria, is the future of watch marketing shifting towards community building and direct engagement to your mind?
I think that it's not the future, it's today. And the most intelligent companies understood it yesterday. Actually, it's already something that is happening since a couple of years, since maybe 5 years, or even 10, because we are talking about communities, we're talking about collectors, we are talking about passionate people about watchmaking since the very beginning of watchmaking. And for sure, today, the social selling, the social connection, especially after COVID, especially during globalization, and we see it in branding, we see it in product creation, we see it in events, we see it in marketing, we see it everywhere. We want to be connected. Companies want to be connected. The clients want to be connected. That's what creates the source of emotion. That's what creates the social, the relationship, and the value for the customers. Absolutely, yes.
Which channels currently bring you the most engaged and loyal clients? Retail, digital platforms, or word of mouth?
Do you want to start?
Yeah, why not? For Kerbedanz, I mean, word of mouth was truly how the brand has been built for during the first years, because we had one collector, the loyal collectors, ordering few pieces, talking to his friends, and bringing them to the universe of Kerbedanz, asking for special timepieces. So for us, the most engaging channel today, I mean, since the last 15 years, was the word of mouth. In this context, we try also to build new community of collectors. We also believe that retail, when we think about retailers that have access to some community of collectors, it's also an important channel.
But always in this way.
Um,
Is there?
So this is how Kerbedanz are started, by word of mouth, and then now the idea is to consider that there will be always collectors directly coming to us by word of mouth, but there are also collectors that will always rely on the expertise of retailers, partners around the world that could convey the message. We need partners that are motivated, committed, and involved to express what we build or what we want to share as the ocean because for our universe. But I've been to, I mean, I worked with different brands, and retail was always the most important before anything else. And then I think it shifted today to the word of mouth, and it's always a pleasure to see satisfied collectors bringing their friends and sharing another moment together to find new way to enter in our universe.
Do specialized watch media still hold the same influence over consumer perception today, since we have ambassadors everywhere, clients, of course, social medias with, well, let's say influencers, but you know, everyone could be an influencer because he has his own circle of friends. So that's why I was thinking that maybe the medias, like classical medias, are not always the principal media to convince people. It could be a part of the legitimacy, but this is not the only way to speak about the brands.
Well, I think that when you are in the luxury price point, you need to go to the classic journalists. Like you need to go to the print media because they have a great eye, they have a great expertise, and most of them are there since like 5, 10, 20 years in the industry, so they saw everything. So they're really like, they will give you good feedbacks, and they will give you good articles if they are believing in the vision. I think the influencer are important, but the like classic classic journalists are really important also, because we started on Instagram, then we did some LinkedIn posts, and we continued to get our customers thanks to this way and the word of mouth. But we started to get a lot of new customers thanks to the printed article, and we had people that we didn't know at all from our social media or from our network or second network that came to us and said, okay, I saw that you were in this type of selection, or I saw this, and it helped us to then get new type of clients, and it really helped us to get retailers, because it's difficult to have retailers if you don't have the press with you. So as a young one, I think it's sometimes not a really good strategy to say like, okay, so all of those journalists are old school, they don't know me, I'm the next generation, and I will just go to the influencer. I think that all of them are part of an important ecosystem.
Yeah, my point was that they are not so much in the center now. They have to exist, of course, because of what he said, legitimacy and the value they bring and the savoir-faire. Yeah,
Yeah, like you can see like all of the great journalists with Watches and Wonders, or with the Geneva Watch Week, or with the New York Watch Week. Like they are so important, but yeah, now the influencer can also be like.
Oh, it was more about the media, not the events.
Yeah.
Of course, the events are important to meet people and to show. It was more about the media.
But the journalists are still like, as a person, especially in France, like you have the top journalist for the watchmaking industry, and it's so important to meet them, I think.
Based on your analysis, Maria, what are the most pressing threats facing independent brands today?
I would say it's to come out of a huge amount of brand that exists on the market. According to my analysis, there are approximately 400 watchmaking luxurious brands exist on the market today. And the question why we are different, how we are different, how to differentiate and how to touch differently the customer would be the most important. What is the right to exist? What is my right to exist?
Maria, based on your experience and research, what key principle give an independent brand the best chance of long-term success?
I don't know if it's going to be good news or bad news, but there are 55 elements that you need to master, that you need to understand, that you need
55.
to 55.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
we
I was
are
surprised.
yes, I'm not going to speak about it now. I'm, by the way, about to finish the book about it. But my 15 years in watchmaking and analyzing the industry, analyzing the brands, analyzing good examples and bad failures and great successes, I realized that there are 55 elements you need to master in order to create strong brands. And whatever is your positioning, whatever is your category, whatever is your product, but let's still talk about watch, timepiece, whatever. I will not bother you with 55 for this go for the book, but I need to underline, I need to say that these 55 elements are across 9 pillars. First would be the product, but not the product, but exceptional product in terms of differentiation, in terms of authenticity, in terms of something really special. Then technical excellence. We were talking about it a lot, and in luxurious watchmaking industry, it's the starting point. Then we are talking about brand identity, authenticity, how I am different and how I will show it. Then visibility, if we have a beautiful product, interesting story, but we are not visible wherever it is, so it would be difficult. Then the way we communicate, the communication itself, the services around the brand, when in luxury, services before, during, and after sales would have extremely important part in creation of brands. Rarity, it could be limited pieces, it could be limited production, it could be whatever interpretation of your brand would speak to you. Then artistic signature, authenticity, artistic crafts, artistic dimensions, different elements, and for sure the financial stability. Last but not least, we need to keep it in mind because watchmaking is a very beautiful industry, but it's also a very complicated object of art that need to have at least 100 pieces inside. Everything should work perfectly. That's why we will justify the price of the watch that could be 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, sometimes up to 1 million. And what is more, this should be durable. Durable, I mean, the company that we launched 5 years ago, it would be a pity to be bankrupt, and we have unfortunately beautiful example of beautiful companies, beautiful watchmaking brands and watches itself that did not survive after 5 years, after 10 years, after 15 years. And we see that this financial stability, the control onto production and relaunching every year or every, I don't know, some periods, extremely important. So that's why these 55 elements divided onto 9 pillars. You need to at least know them, master them, keep them in mind. It's extremely difficult. It's extremely expensive. It's extremely time consuming, but it's the only one guaranteed to survive for the next 5, 10, 20, 200 years. And by the way, I tested this framework on very famous companies, the most famous reference in watchmaking. And it was not really a big surprise to see that the most famous brands that exist in watch marketing and watchmaking business since 100, 200 years have the top of ranking of these elements. So I'm not saying that there are miracles. I'm saying that business is business, and legitimacy and building strong luxury brand, it's extremely passionate, it's extremely complicated, it's extremely beautiful, but still quite challenging industry.
Well, now you are aware. To everyone, if you had to define independent watchmaking in one sentence, capturing both its culture and its identity, what would it be?
For me, independent watchmaking is a way to keep alive the watchmaking world, like to get a vision and to go to the future and not to always like pay tribute to the past. Like for me, it's a moving forward way and philosophy.
On our side, I think it's. I mean, it's. We told about freedom, and I think it's the most important way. I've never experienced such freedom in any other brands I've worked for at Kerbedanz. I think the freedom is the most important. Our motto is crafting in singularity. So I think the unicity of each timepieces independent brand can propose, it's making them a success.
I would say something else. I would say that it's sharing the passion. It's not a product. It's something much more important. It's a world of it's a community of watchmaking lovers, collectors. So as an independent, we share a passion, and we are not competitors. We speak to each other. We share some ideas and so on. So I can feel that with my clients, and I can also feel that with a community of other watchmakers, independent watchmaker, we share something bigger. And I think it's a passion for watchmaking.
I also wanted to speak about passion, but I can't do it better than you. So from my marketing point of view, I would say it's strategy and it's vision. Because when you have a passion, you have the force to get up in the morning, to go meet customers, to go meet clients, to go co-create something. But in the end, where you want to go, where you are going together with your partners, it's about vision. It's about the strategy.
To conclude this talk of Time to Watches 2026, one key idea stands out. Independent watchmaking today is no longer defined only by creation or craftsmanship, but by architecture, the architecture of brand, strategy, and long-term vision. On one side, Maria's perspective, grounded in research and analysis from the Journée internationale du marketing horloger, highlights the structural evolution of the industry, how brands emerge, position themselves, and build sustainable identities in an increasingly complex market. On the other side, the lived experience of the CEOs reminds us that behind every strategy lies reality, choices, constraint, intuition, and constant adaptation. Between these two perspectives emerge a shared truth. Independent watchmaking is a delicate balance between freedom and structure, creativity and discipline, vision and execution, and of course, passion. Perhaps its greatest strength lies precisely there, in its ability to constantly reinvent its own rules, while continuing to grow. Thank you to our guests for their insight, and thank you for all for being with us.